Hey guys, welcome to or back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing safety tips and van life horror stories. Okay, we will start with a horror story. This is the scariest moment I've ever had in the van. I'll share one that's nature, the scariest nature moment, and the scariest human moment. So we'll start with the scariest human moment. My general belief is that humans are generally good. I think when we go on the news, they are nitpicking the worst of the worst scenarios because of course that's entertaining and we want to know that. We want to know about the serial killers and whatever, but I think the majority of people are good. Of course though, there are bad people out there, and when you're on the road and you're encountering and coming into new environments and communities that you don't fully know about, that is a risk you're taking. So for me, I was working at this farm. It's a very small farm town. It's very hard to get there. Everyone there knows each other. I had a support network and I was aware that it wasn't the safest town. There's not a police system there. There's native police, tribal police that deal with the natives and the Native Americans, but there isn't any proper police, and because it's so hard to get there, in a way this town feels lawless. And so yeah, it's not the safest town, and I knew that going in there, but I needed to make money and I had a job there. So I also knew that I was staying behind a gated property at my friend's place working on their farm, so I knew I was safe, and I knew that I had a support network within the town. I had so many friends that had my back. So yeah, I made the decision to stay and work there. One day though, I was with two of my friends. One of them also has a van similar to mine, a big cargo van, and we were both at the grocery store. There's one grocery store at this town, and the way we always park is with our big sliding doors face to face. That way we can kind of have our little bubble and our privacy, and if I want to go from my kitchen to her kitchen, I don't have to walk around. I can just kind of go in between. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's the way we were parked, and we had made some food because we were really hungry, and then we were going to go back to our friend's place to work on the farm. We were finishing up dinner and the sun is starting to set and it's getting dark outside. So at this point, now it's dark. All of a sudden, this gut feeling arises in my stomach, and I see that it arises on my friend's stomach too. I was with two friends, so both of them didn't feel good. None of us felt good. As that was happening, two guys, we were kind of watching them in the parking lot, keeping an eye on them because we were getting weird energies from them, I guess. And they were like messing with the back of my van. I didn't know what they were doing at the time, but they were writing on it because it was dusty, so they were writing notes and stuff. And all of this happened so fast, and we weren't in a position to drive off. Like, we weren't in a position to just leave, because before we leave, we have to make sure all the glass plates and bowls and everything is locked down, otherwise it's just gonna jumble everywhere. So it's not like we could just pack everything up and rush out of this parking lot. Anyways, I jumped out of the van and I kind of went back there and I said, "What are you doing?" And he was there and he like looked at me, and I feel like he could have been on drugs. Like, that was the energy I was getting from him. Like, he just was so out of it and acting so abnormal. And then he kind of just like widened his eyes and he just went like that and then awkwardly walked off. He didn't say anything. Him and his friends just kind of walked off. And we were like, okay, that's weird. And then I went back into the van and told my friends what he said. And we were like, okay, let's go. And so we were gonna start packing things up. And then all of a sudden, like I said, we're parked like this. Our doors are like this. There's no reason that anyone should be walking through, and her door is open, and so my door is closed, her door is open, we are all in her van. One of the guys from the group of two walks with this intensity. I just knew it was bad intention. I don't know what it was. Oh my gosh, my stomach's like getting turned even talking about it. Before I moved into the van, I took over a year of Krav Maga self-defense classes. So it was kind of crazy because I've never been in a situation like this before where I've had to use it or felt this instinct to use it. There wasn't even anything in my mind that was telling me to do this. It was just pure instinct. I got out of the car, my hands go up because this is what you're taught, is like in the classes, I was taught that when you are feeling that there's a threat, you don't want to get your hands in fists yet because they know that you're going to attack, but you also want to give them a warning so that they have the opportunity to leave, but they know that you know, your hands are here in front of your face protecting you. So if they're to punch you, you can defend. And also your hands are right here so you could quickly strike if needed. So anyways, my hands immediately go up and I say, back up. His eyes kind of widen, and again, I feel like he was on drugs or something because he was acting really weird. He didn't say anything. He didn't smile. I don't know what his intentions were, but they were bad. That was the vibe I got. That was the vibe my friends got. So he went off as soon as I said that. I think it was very clear with my body language that I was going to defend myself. Immediately after that happened, him and his friend got in their white truck and just drove off. Like they were there to only mess with us or something. It was really weird. That was the scariest moment from a human that I've had living in the van. And I will tell you guys different safety measures that I take living in my van, and especially after that experience as well. But first, I will also share the other danger of living in a van, which I don't think is really talked about enough. Like people often talk about humans, but you know, there's also wild animals, and that can be really a danger as well. There's bears, there's moose, which are very territorial and can be quite aggressive. Bobcats with their cubs can definitely come at you. Rattlesnakes, things like that can be a danger to you. My scariest story with wildlife, I was in Utah and I was mining topaz crystals in the mountain. So every single day I would climb up this mountain and then climb back down. This day I got tired kind of in the evening or so, and I wanted to make dinner. So I climbed down the mountain, and all of a sudden I step and I look down, and it all happens so quickly again, where I just hear this rattle, and I look down and I see this snake that I assume is a rattlesnake get up on his rear and is about to lunge at me. And so without even thinking, my body just kicks into motion and like sprints the other way, and I was totally fine. I didn't get bit or anything, but it was a reminder, you know, wildlife can be dangerous. And later I did talk to one of the ladies there who kind of had a mineral claim where I was mining, and she said that she has seen a bull snake around, and she actually thinks it was a bull snake, not a rattlesnake. And a bull snake just imitates a rattlesnake with their tongue. So their tongue makes the rattle noise to try to scare off predators. So that could have been a bull snake, but either way, I think those are the two biggest dangers of living on the road, is bad humans and animals that are scared or you're in their territory. I'm going to talk about what I have done to be precautionary with both, but I don't know everything, and I would appreciate if we could start a dialogue in the comments below, because I would also love to learn more. So we'll start with humans, because I think that's what most people are kind of scared of, maybe. That's what I feel like I've heard. So even before I moved into the van, this is like the prep before you do any sort of travel, but I honestly feel like everyone, whether you're a male, female, whether you're going to stay at home or travel, there are bad humans everywhere, and I feel like self-defense classes are so helpful. So I took Krav Maga self-defense classes, and it's an Israeli, they get trained in the military, this form of self-defense. The gym I did is in Austin, Texas. It's called Lions Krav Maga. I'm actually going to leave it linked down below, because if you're in the Austin, Texas area, this gym is so incredible. I'm not being sponsored, but I know the owners. I've worked out there for so long, over a year. The owners are incredible people, and with the pandemic and everything, their business has been kind of, you know, they've had to adapt and they are struggling. So if you are in the Austin, Texas area and you want to get self-defense classes, I highly recommend them. It was life-changing for me, and it makes me feel this security that even if I have weapons and for some reason I can't utilize them or someone's taken them, I have some level of skill in my body. That is just peace of mind for me. But wherever you are, find self-defense classes. Krav Maga is great. I'm sure there's other great ones. That is such a necessary preparation for solo travel, or, like I said, life in general. And then now that I've been in the van, I take certain precautions. There are certain do's and don'ts rules that I've set for myself just for my own safety. One of them is when I'm traveling alone, I do not drive at night because I don't want to have to get gas at night. I don't want to have to be at a gas station in a town that I don't know the environment. I don't know if it's safe around there. I don't know if the people are good people, what the community is like. If I'm traveling with people, I'm a little more lax with it because I do think that overall predators, like, it's kind of weird calling them predators, but they, like, humans can definitely be predators, and I feel like bad people, it definitely stands out to them more if there's one girl traveling versus 2 or 3, you know? I just think like one individual person is probably targeted more, and I feel much more safe with people traveling. So if there's people traveling with me, or if I'm caravanning with someone, I'll drive at night. But if I'm alone, I don't drive at night. So the next thing is I don't have anything showing in my van that kind of identifies me as a gender. I don't have any political stickers on the back of my van, and I always have my keys right by my bed, right here. And I also have like my knife here and various other weapons within my reach. The keys are great because I have an alarm on my key, so whether a bear is trying to break in or a human, I can blare the alarm. And I have lights on the perimeter of my van. This is kind of crazy, but they go off and they blare when the alarms go off, so it lights up the perimeter of the van. So hopefully that will be enough to scare off anyone trying to break into my van. I also have a tracker in the van, and I also let my family and close friends track my phone. In terms of weapons, there's so many different weapons you can choose from based on, you know, what you feel comfortable using. There's tasers, there's guns, there's pepper spray, there's knives, bear spray. Bear spray could be used against humans or bears, so that's kind of nice. And I'm sure there's so many more, but I like to keep any weaponry I need within reach, arm's reach, from when I'm sleeping, because for me I feel most kind of defenseless when I'm asleep, you know, and if someone's trying to break in, I don't know. And then the other thing I do is I don't share the weapons I have, and I don't share where they are. Everything that I post on any of my social medias, whether that's YouTube or Instagram, you guys may have noticed, is delayed. Some of you guys notice this with my YouTube videos. You guys are like, oh, it's like a month behind. Can we hear your current updates? And I would love to share everything currently with you guys on both platforms, but generally I just think it's like a great safety measure to not share where I am. So for me, I just delay everything, and it works conveniently with my workflow anyways. And then another thing is when I am parking in a campsite, there's so many different things I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, you know, I want a level spot, I want to get good light for the solar, and I also want easy access to leave in the event of an emergency, in the event I need to. So I try to reverse into parking spots if I feel really safe and isolated in nature. Sometimes I don't do that because I feel much safer in nature, especially with humans, rather than in cities. In cities I worry a lot about humans, and in nature I worry more about wildlife, because the humans that I meet and see in nature are usually just such sweethearts. My last tip for humans is just to be aware of your surroundings and trust your gut. There's a reason why I had that gut feeling, and all my friends had that gut feeling whenever those guys were near our vans. You know, those things are built within the anatomy of the human to warn us when there's danger, and it's built into every animal, honestly. Sometimes we ignore that, sometimes we get too paranoid and we focus on it too much, but if you can find a balance where you're aware of it and you trust it, then I think that's ultimately good. Even if it's paranoia, maybe it is sometimes, but you know, if you feel like a campsite isn't safe or you don't feel good about a situation, I think you should trust it. I think there's a reason you're feeling that way. Okay, now we will move on to wildlife and camping. This kind of applies if you're gonna be hiking a lot. I love hiking. I don't really like popular trails either because I kind of like being remote and not seeing a lot of people, which means there's risk of getting lost or wildlife and, you know, not having humans nearby to help you if something goes wrong. So when I go on hikes, I pack a few safety items. I always pack a lighter in case I get lost and maybe I need to start a fire to tell someone that I'm there or create warmth for the night. I bring a first aid kit. Bear spray is actually something I don't currently have, but I'm going to be buying it soon, hopefully within the next couple weeks, because I've just been convinced that I think I need to bring it, basically, just as an extra precautionary thing against bobcats or bears or, you know, whatever it is. I also usually bring my headlamp. I have a little headlamp that is battery powered, and I'll usually also bring extra batteries. Again, if I get lost and it's dark, that's just really nice to be able to hike with. And then I also bring a water filter. Again, these are just kind of survival things if you get lost. I have actually been mining for crystals, and one of my friends who had a mineral claim hosted this event where everyone came and dug crystals on his land. But unfortunately, one group of people, a wife, her husband, and her daughter, who was about 5 years old, got lost. So I actually spent like I don't know how long I was out there, but me and him and my friend went out there with our headlamps looking for them, and that's when it really solidified, okay, I need to bring safety things every time I hike. I need to bring a lighter, I need to bring a headlamp, extra food, first aid kit. They ended up just following the light to a nearby town and just went off trail, bushwhacked, came out with a bunch of scars, and had someone pick them up. So it worked out and they were safe. We didn't end up finding them, but it was in that event where I realized you just have to be precautionary with what you bring, even if it's a small hike. I really do try to bring those. Always bring a charged phone. One time I didn't bring a charged phone. It was a bad situation, and it was really dumb of me. It was my fault. My phone was about to die. I didn't have a headlamp. I didn't have a lighter. I didn't have a first aid kit. I didn't really have anything, and I got lost on this trail. I was trying to find some slot canyons in Arizona. I got totally lost. The sun was about to set. I had no clue how to get back to where I parked. I didn't even know how to get back on the trail. And I didn't have anything to scare off wildlife. Like if I had a fire, maybe I could sleep there. My phone was about to die, so I didn't have a lighter. I had no source of light to where I could even, you know, look at if there's human footsteps and find my way back when the sun set. So that was really scary, and that was like another wake-up call where I was like, okay, I always need to bring it, even if it's a short hike, because I think that hike was only 3 miles or something. So yeah, there's always those risks when you're going out in nature, and you just have to kind of be aware and precautious with that. So I think those are all my tips for both human and wildlife safety while living in a van. I think this applies further than a van, though. I think if you're traveling solo abroad, this totally applies. I think if you're just hiking around your area, this applies to. There's always those risks, you know, in a van, even more so because you're going into new places where you don't know the communities and you don't know these certain things unless you've been there before. So I see how it could be scary, and I'm hoping that this brings some peace of mind. And again, if you guys have any advice with this, I would love to hear more. I'm always learning more about safety and how to keep myself safe while on the road, and I'm sure it will help other people too. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!